Okay, let's do this. Yes, good evening and welcome one and all to the first episode of our Facebook Live series. For those that have shown up, thank you. In Kosi, Kaikangans, in Danke. This might be uncomfortable for some and much needed for those who seek help trying to overcome the fear of having the uncomfortable dialogue pertaining to racial segregation, systematic racism, institutionalized racism, and discrimination against disenfranchised people in South Africa. So, below's banner will help share some insight into why anti racism activism is so important, especially in the light of all the tension amongst various cultural groups in our country. For those tuning in from outside South Africa, a warm welcome. Allow me to take you on a journey in the hope of inspiring you, hopefully shifting you, empower you, and hopefully help you understand the continuous struggle of disenfranchised people residing within marginalized communities in South Africa. I do not have all the answers. I do not claim to know everything. I'm not here to change you. I'm only here to share a personal perspective of how I think is important for us as a people who are still under the rod of suffering in this country to still try and develop compassion and empathy in order to see positive change within ourselves and the communities we serve. For all those on this call this evening, I believe that there is a irreversible necessity to evolve, overlap, and merge different cultures and races in this country. In order for us to unite in our quest to fix what has been broken for many years, I'm merely sharing my own personal thoughts, my own personal experiences and knowledge of why I feel it is important to speak up against racial segregation in South Africa. But allow me to bring you home in the valley where I reside and have been actively involved in community development work for the past 22 years. I still crave to learn more, do more, and be more in order for our peace building efforts to help inspire the next generation of social activists, young leaders, young influencers that would be best equipped to help us amplify the importance of unity, compassion, and empathy in our lifetime. I see a few people have tuned in. Thank you and welcome. And thank you for your time. Please do feel free to add your comments, experiences, and knowledge pertaining to racial segregation and the need for inclusion, becoming an ally, and overcoming negative stereotypes against different cultures in this country. Please add your comments. We live in a wild world, a world where bigotry and biases fuel the fire of hate and discrimination. I I am still learning. I am open to learning and still on the journey of healing and overcoming my own negative conditioning. I want to learn from you. I urge you to share your thoughts and any questions you may have in the comment section. Let's learn and overcome together. This is me. I have been fortunate enough to be the South African affiliate coordinator for Peace Jam Foundation. And Peace Jam Foundation is a global organization, and I've been actively involved in managing the peace building work for the past 9 years in South Africa. And I appreciate the opportunity to be in this position to hopefully show up authentically in my peace building work. I'm also the founder and director of a peace building organization called Mentoring Peace Builders South Africa. And Mentoring Peace Builders South Africa is an affiliate of Peace Jam Foundation. And Peace Jam Foundation help amplify the work and legacy of 40 Nobel Peace Prize winners who pass on their skills, wisdom, and spirit they embody in order to make the much needed difference so that we could collectively help those still under the rod of suffering. As human beings, our entire makeup is to be more, live more, and do more in the context of joy and happiness. So, why am I initiating a call to action, especially aimed at our white neighboring communities in the far South Valley? So, let me share a quote that hopefully will be the basis of my presentation for this event. And the quote goes, whatever we had gone through could still be an asset to us in the future. Please allow me to share that again. Whatever we had gone through could still be an asset to us in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, our past, with all its joys, challenges, and difficulties, have helped shine the light in our present darkness. The urge to get the majority of white people from the affluent communities, particularly in the far South Valley, that seem to be a stone throw away from the communities that bear the brunt of systemic discrimination and racism, particularly within the far South Peninsula, as mentioned. So, how do you help get involved in helping break down cultural barriers? We know that fear could be the reason why we are not progressing, but it's time we show up authentically for each other and help amplify meaningful opportunities to help push for innovation, equity, and racial justice in the social impact sector. In my personal experience, this has always been a daunting task. I have been actively involved as a community liaison coordinator within this valley for more than 22 years, and we are yet to experience or witness meaningful and authentic intercultural collaborative projects amongst different races and cultures residing within this beautiful valley known as the Far South Peninsula. So please forgive me if you have any objection and would like to share your thoughts and views. Please feel free to share it in the comment section. So, as a peace building organization, we want to learn and jump on board any meaningful intercultural collaborative projects that represents all cultures and races in this valley. We need to start looking at projects as well as campaigns that help promote and amplify a more equitable Far South Peninsula. So, what does equitable mean in the context of peace building? Equity work and its efforts must achieve a range of sustainable results. Our young generation have been greatly impacted by a conflict in this valley. So let's be real. The Far South Peninsula is affected by fragility, conflict, and high levels of violence. We must wait. We have to prioritize the importance of facilitating racial equity and anti-bias education in all facets of our work, as well as our relationships and interactions with our neighbors. Enough of feeling the need to always handing over money without showing up and being present and think it will solve our immediate problems. We need a long-term view. We need you to show up. We need you to share skills and resources to help our disadvantaged communities to realize their worth and value again, to find the power to amplify marginalized voices. As a white parent, I see you are getting involved, but why isn't your children getting involved? Why are they kept away from meaningful interaction and relationship with children from the communities you serve? Is it fear? The influence? Let us know. Say it. Tell us. What are you afraid of? We know enough about the challenges concerning our history. The Group Areas Act of 1960, Simonstown, Noortuk, Sunnydale, Dido Valley, Radial, Komiki, to name but a few. While we are at it, let's talk about our shared humanity. To know that we can make the much needed difference as a Far South Valley. I strongly believe that this valley will know no peace until we start bringing in these conversations within our homes, with our children, with our neighbors, and our family members. We have witnessed the injustices against disenfranchised people in this country for far too long. We are witnessing the acceleration of the trauma experienced within our high-risk communities. Right here in our beautiful valley, where many of our white neighbors choose to stay in their bubbles, where our own within our communities are hurting, robbing, and murdering their own. In this beautiful valley where family members are living in cramped spaces, in shacks, tenement buildings, and not being able to feed their families. In this beautiful valley where unemployment is rife, in a valley marred by trauma from our past, and so fractured by the perpetuation of segregation and racial injustices, and yet so many are unfailingly resilient in the face of monumental challenges. So do you see that? Do our neighbors see that? Yes, it's our own doing the hurting here. But what are we doing to understand the personal narrative of hurting people? Where does this hurt, this despair and hate stem from? Ladies and gentlemen, we must look with hope toward a better and hard-won future. I urge all white parents in the valley to help act on the importance of intercultural collaboration. Help us break down cultural barriers in this valley. Get your kids involved in meaningful relationship with the kids from the neighboring communities. Overcome the sense of fear. Unite with us in our quest to break down cultural barriers. There are little or limited understanding of why your neighbors take to the streets to protest against the system that often don't play in their favor. There are little or limited understanding why an Ocean View, Masipumelele, and Redhill resident are having to endure so much suffering in their daily lives. There are little or limited understanding of how powerful and brilliant the majority of people residing within high risk areas still find sensible ways to navigate through dangerous territories in their lives. It's time, it's time, it's time to understand identity and differences in this valley. It's time to help overcome negative stereotypes. It's time to discuss privilege and power. It's time to facilitate compassion and empathy. And it's time to break down cultural barriers and unite as a Far South Valley. And most importantly, I would think it is time to love and appreciate each other in this Far South Valley. I believe that a large scale change depends on increasing and persistently acting upon the understanding of equitable practices among our Far South organizations, our parents, our family members, our schools, institutions, as well as our communities. So, thank you for tuning in. We are delighted to announce that we will have a series of online live events on these topics, these burning issues. We also have special guests that we will interview on this platform. Please join our peace building movement for more updates, to get involved in our youth led events, and to share resources. Let's delve into the comments. Love and light. I appreciate your time here this evening. Thank you. Dr. Lucille Mayer, thank you for joining us here this evening. Um, there's been a comment from Dr. Lucille Mayer, my mentor, somebody that I look highly up to, the CEO of Chrysalis Academy, and she had shared I particularly appreciate the comment about volunteers involving their children in the communities they serve. Thank you, ma'am. And I thank you for those that have tuned in and have added a comment. I see Belinda have showed up. Thank you so much. Yeah, together we can break down cultural barriers, together we can really show up and be present in the light of all the tension that's happening in our valley. Like I mentioned, there will be no peace until we learn and understand identity and difference, understand why hurting people hurt people. So please tune in next week, and we hope to have you join us, and we hope to expand this movement and engage you positively in order for us to find sensible ways to really align and bring about positive change. The time is now. Wanda Peterson, thank you, love, for joining us. Wanda has been supportive of our peace building efforts in this valley for quite some time. Wanda shared, together we can. We need to be present. We need to all do our bit. I agree, because it's that little bits that overwhelm the world. And Desmond Tutu have shared that quote. Together creates a strong sense of unity. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Dr. Mayer, for joining us. And we'll be back next week, Wednesday, same time, same place. Love and light. And the recording will be on our social media platforms. Please visit our website, www.mentoringpeacebuilders.org, or alternatively, you could visit our affiliate partner, PJAM Foundation, on www.pjam.org. Love and light, be safe, love, unite, embrace. Thank you. Good night.